Children, we are going to study soil types now. Chapter 9 in the class 7 describes about the soil. Today we are going to learn 4 types of soil that will help us to grow crops. Earlier we have studied soil profile, importance of soil. Today we are going to work on different kinds of soil. In the next 4 lessons, we study formation of soil, erosion of soil, soil pollution, protection of soil. Look at this image. I have shown you soil types. There are 4 major types: clay soil, loamy soil, sandy soil, and silt. Now, clay soil this is the clay soil. Clay soil contains fine particles. Loamy soil contains a mixture of clay and sand, that's called loam, and sandy soil contains larger particles. Silt is the soil that is drifted away by the water, especially river water, and that will be dumped or sedimented in a place, and that becomes silt. Silt is very rich in humus. Soil is classified based upon the size of the particle present in the soil. If soil contains greater proportion of big particles, it is called sandy soil. If it contains fine particles relatively higher, then it is called clay soil, that is smaller particles. If there is a mixture of sand and clay, it's called loamy soil. Now again I have shown you the clay looks like that, like almost like a elastic material. It is very fine particle. Now the second one shows about the silt. When the water comes, it carries fine sand, maybe some clay, and it will deposit on the banks, and that is called silt. Silt contains very rich nutrients for the plants to grow. Here is again the loamy soil, and this is the sand. Humus is like this. That means it may contain a large amount of dead and decaying matter. I have shown you comparison of soil particles. If you look at the sand, or it's called gravel, is much bigger in size. It may be 2 millimeters to 75 millimeter in size. Sand is much smaller, and that may be 0.05 millimeter to 2 millimeter in size. Now silt is much smaller particle, that may be 0.002 millimeters, very small particle. And clay is much more smaller, less than 0.002 millimeter. That means if you divide 1 inch into 20,000 pieces, 1 piece may be clay. So now look at the size of the particles. Try to remember the size. This triangle helps you to understand the size of the particles and the nature. On one side we have sand. It contains 100% bigger particles. It's called sand. If it contains 100% very fine particles, it is called clay. If it contains in between particles, it's called silt. And depending upon mixing of these 3 different kinds of soils, we get clay loam, sandy loam, loamy sand, silty loam, silty clay loam, silt clay, and silt. That means depending upon the mixture of these four particles, we get different kinds of soils. This image shows you different types of soil present in our country. India has alluvial soil, red soil, black soil, laterite soil, a desert or arid soil, peaty or marshy soil, forest soil, mountain soil, dry soil, saline and alkaline soil. So, on one end on the alluvial soil, this is mostly from the riverbed. Saline soil is mostly from the sea and what we call oceans. This is not suitable for cultivation of plants. You can study the nature of these soils in your higher class, but just understand that soil, there are different types of soil in India. Some parts of the India may contain more clayey soil. Some parts may contain loamy soil. Other parts may contain sandy soil when you think of deserts. Soil quality is affected by wind, rainfall, temperature, light and humidity. Now we have to select which type of soil. Here I have shown you soil is the supplier of nutrients. Plants require both nutrients and minerals. Major nutrients are nitrogen, symbol is N, phosphorus, symbol is P, potassium, it is K, normally called NPK. They are the major source of nutrients for the plants. Most important minerals present in the soil are calcium, boron and magnesium. These are very important for the healthy plant growth. Soil rich in humus contain all these nutrients and minerals, and it is essential for growth of a plant. Air and water supply carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. They are also important and essential elements for the growth of the plant. Without carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, plants cannot grow in any atmosphere, in any kind of soil. Properties of the soil. Size of the particles in a soil has an influence on its properties. Sand particles are quite large. They cannot fit close together, so there is large air space between them. These spaces are filled with air. We say that sand is well aerated, but it may not be useful for plant growth because water cannot be retained. It is drained out quickly. So sandy soil tend to be light and well aerated and dry, not useful for the plants to grow. Clay soil contains fine particles. It contains humus. It retains or holds water, but it has less air and it is very good for plant growth. Certain types of plants can grow very well in clay soil. Loamy soil is a mixture of clay and fine sand, and it is rich in humus, retains water, it has large amount of air. So loamy soil is a perfect garden soil where many types of plants can grow. Of course, sandy soil has more air spaces, it cannot hold water, it has less nutrients, so sand is not very good for plants to grow. Clayey and loamy soils are both suitable for growing cereals like wheat and gram. Clayey soil also helps in growth of paddy because it retains water. Lentils and other pulses require loamy soil which has lot of air in that, and it also drains water away, whereas clay soil will retain water and therefore it is not suitable for pulses. Cotton, sandy or loamy soil is required. It drains water and it has more air suitable for cotton and other crops. Therefore, you must know the nature of the soil and what types of crops are grown in that. They will ask a question in your examination about the types of plants that can be grown in different kinds of soil. In your textbook, you have the information. Please read. I am grateful to authors from Creative Commons. I have taken a few images to help you to understand how we can study soil. Thank you.